Outwork yesterday. If you want to become someone you've never been, you must do what you've never done, starting by outworking the person you were yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, champions in the making, I want you to pause and ask yourself something simple but powerful. Did I give yesterday everything I had? And if the answer is yes, then today, you got to give even more. If the answer is no, then today, Todai, you've got no excuses left. It's time to outwork yesterday. Because listen, yesterday is a shadow. It's gone. You can't edit it. You can't rewrite it. But Todai, oh, today is alive. It's breathing. It's your blank canvas. It's your second chance dressed up as an ordinary morning. Start the day with intention. Don't let the day wake you up while you wake the day up. That's not just a catchy line. It's a call to ownership. The most powerful people in the world don't wait for inspiration to strike them. They command their morning with purpose, vision, and clarity. If you want to outwork yesterday, you have to begin with a shift in mindset the second your eyes open. Before the notifications, before the emails, before the chaos begins, you need to take charge. Starting the day with intention means waking up not just to function, but to conquer. You don't get up because the alarm clock screamed at you. You get up because there's a mission pulling you out of bed. That mission is simple: to be better than who you were yesterday. Not better than your friend, not better than your sibling, not better than some influencer online. Just better than you. That's the race that matters. You see, too many people wake up and drift. They're already behind because their first thoughts are about what they don't have, what they're afraid of, what they failed at. That kind of start sets the tone for the rest of the day. It becomes a domino effect of delay, doubt, and distraction. But when you start the day with intention, you're placing yourself in the driver's seat. You tell your mind where to go instead of letting it wander into anxiety, laziness, or regret. Think about this. Every day is a battlefield between who you've been and who you're becoming. The moment your feet hit the floor, you're either stepping into your past or walking toward your purpose. If you don't wake up with clarity, you'll be pulled by emotions, circumstances, or worse, other people's agendas. When you don't claim your morning, someone else will claim it for you. And this is why you must wake up and say to yourself, today, I'm not just going to live, I'm going to compete with who I was yesterday. That version of you who skipped the workout, who scrolled too long, who procrastinated on that dream. Beat them. Let today be a personal competition, a private game of progress where every win, no matter how small, means something. This is about personal growth, not perfection. You don't have to transform your whole life in one day, but you do need to be aware and intentional. That starts with asking yourself one simple question as soon as you get up. What can I do today that I didn't do yesterday? That's where your power is. That's where momentum is born, and momentum, when nurtured, becomes greatness over time. Now, here's a practical strategy to help you anchor this intention into action. Each morning, take just 5 minutes to write down your win list. 3 things you will do better today than you did yesterday. This isn't just a to-do list. It's a declaration of war against stagnation. Maybe yesterday you didn't drink enough water. Today, that's on the list. Maybe you gave in to distractions and skipped your reading time. Today, you make it non-negotiable. Maybe you lost your temper with someone. Today, you practice patience. These 3 things don't have to be huge. What matters is that they're meaningful. They're rooted in who you were yesterday and who you want to be tomorrow. Over time, these daily improvements add up. They become habits. They become identity. And suddenly, you look up weeks or months later and realize you don't even recognize that old version of yourself. You've outgrown them by outworking them. Daily, consistently, intentionally. And don't just write the list. Own it. Carry it with you. Put it in your pocket. Set reminders. Revisit it midday. It's your accountability partner. It's your commitment in ink to becoming just a little better than who you were. That's the mission. Starting the day with intention is not about being perfect. It's about being purposeful. It's about giving yourself a reason to rise. Not just because you have to, but because you get to, because you've been blessed with another opportunity to grow. So every morning, before the world tells you who you are, you tell the world who you're going to be. Then go prove it. One action at a time, one win at a time, one day at a time. Outwork yesterday, starting now. Destroy excuses. Excuses are lies dressed in just enough logic to make you feel comfortable staying average. They wear masks of reason, but underneath, they're nothing more than fear in disguise. I'm tired. I don't have time. I don't feel ready. Maybe tomorrow. We've all said these things, but hear this. Your dreams don't care about your comfort. Your goals are not moved by your feelings. And your future self is not interested in your rationalizations for staying stuck. If you want to outwork yesterday, you must declare war on every excuse that tries to slow you down. Excuses are the language of limitation. They are chains that bind potential to the floor of hesitation. And most of the time, we don't even realize how much they're robbing from us. Excuses feel so small in the moment, but they compound into regret. You skip the workout once, then again. Then a week goes by. Then you start over every Monday. Excuses turn momentum into mediocrity. Your job is simple. Destroy them. Cut the root. Expose the lie. Most excuses are just comfort speaking louder than commitment. When you say, I don't have time, the truth is, you didn't make it a priority. When you say, I'm too tired, maybe you didn't fuel your body or protect your energy the way you should. When you say, it's not the right time, maybe you're waiting for a perfection that will never come. The world doesn't slow down for your hesitation. Success doesn't knock twice. And life is not obligated to give you second chances. Excuses don't just delay action. They destroy belief. The more you let them win, the more you convince yourself that greatness isn't for you. But here's what you need to know: yesterday's weakness does not own today's power. Just because you gave in to the excuse before doesn't mean you have to do it again. You can rewrite the script. You can stand in front of that same excuse and say, not today. When you hear that little voice whispering, you can skip today, or you don't feel like it. That's the moment that defines champions. That's the fork in the road where average people turn back and committed people level up. That's your moment to flex not your muscles, but your mindset. The grind isn't about how strong you feel. It's about what you do when you don't feel strong. That's where discipline is born. And here's a practical weapon to fight back when the excuse shows up. Don't just ignore it. Write it down. Yes, seriously. Put it on paper. Call it out by name. I'm too tired. I'm not good enough. I'm afraid I'll fail. Then, right underneath that excuse, write one action that directly contradicts it. One move, one decision, one behavior. You say you're too tired, right? To 15 minutes of movement anyway. You say you're afraid of failing, right? Take one bold step, even if it scares me. You say you don't have time, right? Wake up 30 minutes earlier. This isn't about proving the excuse wrong. It's about proving yourself right. You are capable. You are strong. You are worthy of a life that's beyond excuses, beyond mediocrity, beyond delay. But you can't reach that version of yourself if you keep giving power to weak justifications. Destroying excuses isn't a one-time event. It's a daily battle. But every time you beat one, every time you act instead of avoid, you grow stronger. You begin to trust yourself. And when self-trust grows, progress becomes inevitable. Excuses love comfort zones, but your dreams, they live outside of them. So if you're serious about outworking yesterday, you've got to live in that place where excuses die and effort wins. It doesn't matter if the voice in your head is telling you to quit. It only matters that you don't listen. You're not here to negotiate with excuses. You're here to eliminate them. You're here to outwork them. There's greatness inside you, but excuses will always try to bury it. Don't let them. Write them down, face them, break them, one by one, day by day, action by action. That's how you reclaim your time, your power, and your life. That's how you destroy excuses. And that's how you outwork yesterday, every single day, Fuel up with the right input. You can't expect to outwork yesterday if you're feeding your mind with the same junk that held you back before. Just like your body can't perform on a diet of empty calories and sugar crashes, your mind can't grow on a steady stream of negativity, noise, and nonsense. What you feed your brain will eventually shape your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your actions. And your actions, they shape your life. We live in a world that's constantly screaming for your attention. From the moment you wake up, there's noise, notifications, gossip, doom scrolling, comparison traps, and mental junk food. If yesterday you filled your head with mindless videos, angry arguments on social media, or gossip that brought no value to your life, then yesterday already had the upper hand. You were distracted. You were mentally drained. You didn't give yourself a fighting chance. That's why if you want to outwork yesterday, you need to outfuel it. Feeding your mind the right input is not about being perfect or cutting off the entire world. It's about being intentional with what you allow in. Think of your mind like fertile soil. Whatever you plant there and water consistently is going to grow. If all you're planting are seeds of fear, doubt, drama, and distraction, then don't be surprised when your life feels chaotic and off track. But if you plant seeds of wisdom, encouragement, strategy, and growth, watch what happens to your habits, your energy, and your confidence. You've got to make your mental diet as important as your physical one. Start asking yourself, what am I feeding my mind today? Is it content that pushes you to be better? Is it information that sharpens your skill set or inspires your spirit? Or is it just noise, entertainment without elevation? Because if you keep consuming the same shallow input, you'll keep getting the same shallow results. You can't grow if you keep scrolling. You can't rise if you keep reacting. Look around at the most focused, successful, purpose-driven people you admire. They guard their input like gold. They don't wake up and randomly consume whatever the world throws at them. They choose what gets their attention. They read books that challenge their mindset. They listen to voices that lift their spirit. They invest in knowledge that multiplies their ability. That's no accident. It's a daily decision. And you can make that same decision today. It starts with one small but powerful move. Commit to feeding your mind something that uplifts and equips you every single day. One podcast episode, one chapter from a personal growth book, one inspiring sermon or message that realigns your spirit. That's it. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. It just has to be consistent, because what you repeat, you reinforce. Maybe you're commuting to work. Instead of drowning in mindless music or talk radio, hit play on a leadership podcast. Maybe you're doing chores or walking the dog. Great. Play an audiobook that expands your thinking. Turn your routine moments into growth moments. Turn downtime into development time. These little shifts add up in big ways. Over time, they rewire your thoughts, rebuild your beliefs, and reframe your perspective. When you fuel your mind right, your entire energy shifts. You walk differently. You think differently. You respond differently. The distractions that used to pull you down lose their grip. The doubts that used to dominate your day fade into the background. Why? Because you're feeding your mind something stronger, something richer, something aligned with your goals, your growth, and your greatness. This is how you start winning the invisible battles, the ones nobody else sees. When your mindset is sharp, your focus improves, your discipline strengthens, your resilience multiplies. And before long, the version of you that got stuck in yesterday's habits and distractions won't even recognize who you're becoming. You'll have outgrown them, not just by working harder, but by thinking better. So feed your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Start today. Find one voice, one message, one source of truth that pulls you forward. Press play. Take notes. Apply what you learn. Do it daily. Because every time you make that choice, you're telling yesterday, you don't control me anymore. I choose growth. That's how you fuel up for greatness. That's how you outwork yesterday. Set a micro goal and smash it. If you want to outwork yesterday, don't start with a mountain. Start with a pebble. Because the truth is, Progress doesn't begin with a massive leap. It begins with a micro goal. One win, one task, one decision that says, I'm not going backward today. When you lock in on one small, specific improvement, you create a ripple effect that changes your energy, your direction, and eventually, your life. Here's what most people do wrong. They try to change everything at once. They wake up fired up, set 15 goals, try to rebuild their life in a day, and by the end of the week, they're burnt out, overwhelmed, and right back where they started. That's not how champions are built. Champions don't need to conquer the world in a day. They just need to win today. And that starts by identifying one area where they can be 1% better than yesterday. Think about this. If you can win early, you'll build momentum. And momentum is a force more powerful than motivation. Motivation fades. It comes and goes. But momentum, once it gets going, it's hard to stop. And it doesn't take a huge victory to start the chain reaction. Just one micro win that tells your mind, we're moving forward. So how do you do it? You choose a single area of your life, fitness, focus, or finances, and you make a commitment to improve that area by just 1% today. That's it. No pressure to be perfect. No need to overhaul your entire routine. Just one step, one notch above what you did yesterday. If you walked 20 minutes yesterday, walk 22 today. If you saved $5 yesterday, save 6 today. If you spent 30 minutes focused on deep work yesterday, push it to 33 today. That tiny increase might seem insignificant, but it's not. It's evidence of progress. And here's the thing, the brain loves progress. It craves that sense of victory. When you set a micro goal and smash it, you release dopamine, the win chemical. That little reward doesn't just make you feel good, it rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to change, and you start seeing yourself as someone who is changing. And that shift in identity, that's where the magic happens. Because once you believe you can win, you'll start stacking those wins. Let's say you pick focus as your target today. Yesterday, you were distracted, scattered, jumping between apps and tabs and thoughts. Today, your micro goal is to do one deep work sprint, 30 minutes, no phone, no notifications, just pure concentration. You crush it. That single win gives you clarity. You feel sharper, more in control. That 30 minutes sets the tone for the rest of your day. You build on it. You carry that focus into your next task. And suddenly, you're not just outworking yesterday, you're outthinking it. Or maybe you choose fitness. You've been inconsistent, skipping workouts, making excuses. But today, your micro goal is simply move for 20 minutes. No excuses, no negotiations, just movement. You finish it, and you feel that sweat, that breath, that fire. You didn't just move your body, you moved your mindset. You prove to yourself that you follow through. That one micro win carries over. You make better food choices. You sleep better. You wake up tomorrow stronger than you were today. Even with finances, it's not about saving thousands overnight. It's about choosing one moment of discipline. Packing lunch instead of eating out. Canceling a subscription you don't use. Transferring a small amount to your savings. That micro move may look small, but it's building financial focus. And when you control your money, you start controlling more of your life. It's time to stop chasing perfection and start building momentum. You don't need a massive breakthrough. You need a micro breakthrough. One choice, one action, one win. Every day. That's how you outwork yesterday. It's not flashy. It's not glamorous, but it's real and it works. So right now, ask yourself, what's one area I can be 1% better in today? Don't overthink it. Just choose. Then lock in, commit, execute. And when you finish that one micro goal, celebrate it. Remind yourself, I beat the version of me from yesterday. That's the path. That's the process. That's how you win over and over again. Because when you stack enough micro wins, you won't just work yesterday, you'll outrun who you used to be. And that's how greatness is built. Channel the grit of greats. If you want to outwork yesterday, you've got to stop thinking like the average and start thinking like the legendary. The ones who rise above mediocrity aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who choose to grind when it's not glamorous. They are the ones who show up again and again, long after the crowd stops cheering. Legends don't rise by accident, they rise by grit. They become who they are by showing up on the days they don't feel like it and outworking not just the world, but their yesterday's self. Think about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players to ever walk the earth. But before he was a legend, he was just a teenager with a dream. And a massive disappointment. He got cut from his high school varsity team. Most people would have taken that as a sign to quit. Most people would have shrunk, but not Jordan. He didn't complain, didn't sulk, didn't blame the coach or the system. He went to work. He channeled that pain into power. He practiced like his life depended on it. He trained with a fire that said, "You will never outwork me again." That's the grit of greatness. He didn't become the GO8 because he got lucky. He became the GO8 because he got laser focused. Because every time he wanted to rest, he remembered the moment he was cut. Every time he felt comfortable, he thought about the player who made the team instead of him. And instead of asking, "Why me?" he asked, "What now?" Then he did something about it. You see, greatness is not about the spotlight. It's about what you do in the shadows. When no one is watching, when you're tired, when you're doubting, when everything in you says, "Take it easy," but something deeper inside says, "Get up, get to work." That's where champions are made. If you want to rise, you have to find that level of grit within yourself. You have to be willing to do what others won't so you can live how others can't. That means out-training your comfort zone. It means going beyond what's convenient. It means doing one more rep, making one more call, putting in one more hour. Because growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in resistance. And the only way to build grit is to go where it hurts and stay there until strength shows up. But here's the key. You don't need to figure it all out on your own. Every day, ask yourself one powerful question. What will my role model do today? Maybe it's Michael Jordan. Maybe it's Serena Williams. Maybe it's Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Elon Musk, or your mother who raised 5 kids while working 2 jobs. Whoever it is, channel their grit. Think like they think, move like they move. Ask, would they skip this workout? Would they procrastinate on this project? Would they settle for average? The answer is always no. Role models aren't just meant to inspire, they're meant to guide. So use them, mirror their habits, emulate their hunger, study their discipline, and then apply it. Not someday, today. Because every time you ask that question and act on it, you're aligning yourself with greatness. You're choosing to walk the path they walked, the path of discipline, resilience, and relentless pursuit. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, you do what legends do. You get back up, you push again, you fall in love with the grind. Because you know that's where your future is forged. Nobody becomes a legend by doing what's easy. They become legends by refusing to quit when it's hard. They become legends by showing up when everyone else is sleeping, resting, or doubting. So, whatever you're facing today, remember this. Your excuses are not stronger than your example. You've seen what greatness looks like. You felt that spark inside you. Now it's time to act like it. Time to grind like it. Time to rise like it. Time to outwork your old story and replace it with a legendary one. That's how you beat yesterday. That's how you silence your limits. That's how you walk in the footsteps of greatness and one day create your own legacy for someone else to follow. Track your progress like a hawk. You want to outwork yesterday. Then you've got to know what yesterday looked like. You can't improve what you don't measure. If you're not tracking your steps, you're just guessing your way through life. And let me tell you something. Winners don't guess. Winners calculate. They observe. They document. They study. They don't let their progress live in their imagination. They write it down and hold it accountable. Yesterday isn't just a memory. It's a baseline. It's data. It's feedback. It's your competition. And if you want to get better, stronger, sharper. You need to face it every single day. You need to say, this is what I did yesterday. What am I doing today to beat it? That mindset separates amateurs from pros. Because amateurs hope, pros track. Let's talk real. You say you're working hard, but are you? You say you're improving, but how do you know? You say you're focused, but can you prove it? See, there's something powerful about writing it down. When you journal your productivity, your mood, your habits, or your training, you're telling your mind, this matters. You're building self-awareness. You're not just going through the motions, you're tracking every rep of your growth. Think about it like an athlete in training. If they never tracked their performance, how would they know when they were improving? Would they know how fast they ran last week? Would they know how much weight they lifted yesterday? No. And without that knowledge, they can't adjust, they can't level up. That's why the best keep logs, journals, videos, receipts of their grind. Your life needs the same structure. Your growth needs the same discipline. Every evening, before the day is done, you sit down and run a self-review. No sugarcoating. No hiding. Just ask yourself, what did I accomplish today? Where did I show up strong? Where did I slack? Did I beat yesterday or did I let it win? That's how you start seeing patterns. That's how you catch the habits that slow you down. That's how you begin to move with intention instead of default. Maybe today you realize you scrolled on your phone for 90 minutes, but only read for 15. Now you've got something to attack tomorrow. Maybe you notice you had energy dips at 2 p.m. all week. Now you know you need to change your nutrition or get more sleep. Maybe you crushed your workout today and want to push it further tomorrow. Now you've got direction. That's what tracking does. It turns emotion into data and turns data into improvement. Here's what this looks like in practice. Get a simple notebook or use a journaling app. Keep it basic but consistent. Write the date. Then break it down into 3 key categories. Productivity. What did you set out to do? What did you actually do? Where did you win? Where did you waste time? Mood and energy, how did you feel throughout the day? When were you most alive? When were you drained? Habits and discipline, did you follow through on your morning routine? Did you train? Did you eat well? Did you focus? That's it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Real enough to tell you the truth. Because the truth is what sets you free. It's what sets you apart. And it's what gives you the tools to build a better tomorrow. And don't just record it, review it. Go back each week and look at your patterns. See where you're growing. Celebrate your consistency. Identify your weak spots and attack them. This isn't about guilt. It's about growth. You're not tracking to punish yourself. You're tracking to outperform yourself. Tracking is your accountability partner when no one else is watching. It's your mirror, your measuring stick, your scoreboard. And when you track your life like a hawk, you stop drifting and start driving. You become intentional, strategic, focused. You begin to realize how powerful you really are, because now you've got proof. So don't live in the fog. Don't rely on memory. Don't trust your feelings to guide your discipline. Track your steps. Document your journey. Beat your baseline. That's how you outwork yesterday, not by guessing, but by measuring, learning, and evolving. Remember, the difference between average and excellent is often clarity. And clarity comes when you stop moving blindly and start tracking like a hawk. Use pain as propulsion. Pain is not your enemy, it's your engine. It's not the signal to stop, it's the signal to start moving. When you feel that sting of failure, that ache of disappointment, that weight of not being enough yesterday, that's not a wall, that's a door. And if you're bold enough to walk through it, that pain can become the most powerful force you've ever known. I remember when I was broke, not just broke in the bank, but broke in the spirit. Sleeping on the floor, hearing my stomach roll at night, not knowing how I was going to make it. I didn't run from that pain. I didn't pretend it wasn't there. I stared it in the face and I said, "You will not break me, you will build me." A pain becomes purpose when you give it a job. Most people try to avoid pain. They numb it, deny it, or complain about it. But champions use it. Champions say, I'm going to outlift this heartbreak. I'm going to outrun this fear. I'm going to outwork this shame. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to be a victim of yesterday. That's someone who turns pain into propulsion. Think about every great figure who's left a legacy. Oprah used her pain. She grew up in poverty, abused, rejected, but she didn't let that define her. She let it refine her. She let it push her to work harder, reach farther, and become more. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. That wasn't just suffering, that was fuel. That was the fire that forged a leader. He used every moment of that pain to strengthen his purpose. Now ask yourself, what's your pain? What's the one thing that still stings when you think about it? Maybe you were abandoned. Maybe you failed publicly. Maybe you were overlooked, underestimated, or betrayed. That pain isn't the end of your story. It's the reason to write a new one. But you can't just sit in it. You've got to do something with it. You've got to convert pain into progress. That's the transformation. That's where the magic happens. And it starts with getting honest about what hurt you. So here's the move: write down what hurt yesterday, not just emotionally, but physically, mentally, spiritually. Be raw, be specific. Then, next to every hurt, write down what you're going to do about it today. Not what you'll feel, not what you'll say, what you'll do. If yesterday you felt rejected, today send that email anyway. If yesterday you felt weak, today hit the gym and reclaim your strength. If yesterday you were passed over, today build something so undeniable that nobody can ignore you again. That's action. That's control. That's turning pain into a personal mission. And don't just do this once. Make it a daily ritual. Every morning ask, what hurt me yesterday? What am I going to do today that tells pain it didn't win? Let your pain become your compass. When something stings, it's showing you where you've still got something to prove. Not to the world, to yourself. And that's what outworking yesterday is all about. When you move with pain in your pocket, you move different. You're not just motivated by dreams, you're driven by scars. And scars speak louder than trophies because they tell a story of survival. They say, I've been through it and I'm still here. I'm still pushing. I'm still growing. So don't numb your pain. Name it. Don't hide at it. Don't resent it. Respect it. Because when you harness pain the right way, it becomes pressure. And pressure creates diamonds. That's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who break through. One group lets pain paralyze them. The other lets it mobilize them. Be the second kind. Be the kind of person who looks at the worst moment of their life and says, thank you. You gave me the fire to become more than I was. You don't outwork yesterday by pretending it didn't hurt. You outwork it by letting that hurt become your reason to rise higher, move faster, dig deeper. Let your frustration drive your execution. Let your setbacks sharpen your skills. Let your wounds light the way. Because if you want to win today, you've got to do it with more heart than you had yesterday. And that heart, it's not built in comfort, it's built in the fire. So use the fire. Burn brighter. Move harder. Let the pain push you to power. Surround yourself with tomorrow-minded people. Well, if you want to outwork yesterday, you need to start surrounding yourself with people who are obsessed with tomorrow. It's not just about finding people who share your interests. It's about finding people who push you, challenge you, and make you uncomfortable with their ambition. Your circle shapes your future, whether you realize it or not. If you're hanging around people who are stuck in last week, stuck in yesterday, or stuck in their comfort zone, you'll find yourself stuck too. You see, growth is contagious, so is stagnation. If you're surrounded by people who are always looking back, reminiscing on the good old days, talking about missed opportunities, or caught up in old failures, you'll start to mirror that energy. You'll begin to accept mediocrity, to make excuses for not pushing forward, to live in the shadow of the past. But if you're around people who are always pushing for more, who have a vision for tomorrow, who are actively working on their dreams, you'll find yourself rising with them. You'll start thinking bigger, acting bolder, and embracing challenges you never thought possible. This is the power of a tomorrow-minded circle. These are the people who don't let you rest on your laurels. They don't allow you to settle for the status quo. When you're surrounded by people who are always thinking forward, you have no choice but to level up. You start asking yourself, if they're doing that, what's stopping me? You start thinking, what's my next move? You begin to see how much more is possible, how much more you can achieve, and how much more you have to offer. The problem is, most people spend too much time with people who are comfortable in their comfort zones. They spend their time with people who have given up on growth, or worse, people who never even started. Maybe they're your friends, your family, or your colleagues, but if you're not careful, their mindset will rub off on you. You'll begin to adopt their patterns, their beliefs, their excuses. You'll start seeing barriers where there are none. You'll begin thinking that what they've accepted is enough for you, too. But you can't afford to live in that kind of environment if you want to outwork yesterday. You need to break free from the pull of complacency. You need to step into rooms, conversations, and relationships that stretch you. You need to spend time with people who have bigger dreams than you, who take bigger risks than you, and who push you beyond your limits. Think about the people you admire most, the ones you look up to as legends in their fields. Did they get there by hanging around people who were satisfied with mediocrity? No, they surrounded themselves with people who made them uncomfortable, people who made them think differently, who challenged them to push harder, faster, and smarter. Those people were the ones who helped them rise higher than they ever thought possible. So, here's the challenge, DI, audit your circle. Take a hard look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they lifting you up? Are they challenging you to grow? Are they helping you see a bigger picture, a brighter future? Or are they holding you back, pulling you down, or distracting you with negativity? The truth is, you can't outwork yesterday if you're stuck in a circle that's still living in last week. Take a moment and evaluate your relationships. How much of your time is spent with people who inspire you? How much time do you spend with people who motivate you to do better, to be better? Do you spend 80% of your time with dreamers, doers, and builders, or do you spend it with people who are fine with where they are? The 80-20 rule applies here. Spend 80% of your time with people who make you grow, and only 20% with people who keep you where you are. Once you identify the people who are pulling you forward, invest in those relationships. Surround yourself with people who make you think bigger, dream bolder, and act faster. Engage with those who are not satisfied with mediocrity, who refuse to settle for anything less than their highest potential. These are the people who will help you outwork yesterday every single day. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from people who drain you, discourage you, or keep you stuck in the past. You don't owe anyone your time, especially if they're not adding value to your future. If your circle doesn't have tomorrow-minded people who inspire you to rise higher, it's time to find a new one. You deserve to be surrounded by people who elevate your thinking and accelerate your growth. So, take action today. Audit your circle. Make the tough choices. Spend 80% of your time with people who challenge you to think, grow, and act. And watch how your life begins to outwork yesterday with a new level of energy, focus, and ambition. Say no to the noise. Distractions are the silent killers of progress. They sneak up on you little by little until they've consumed your focus and left you spinning in circles. Every time you let your attention drift toward mindless scrolling, unnecessary conversations, or endless distractions, you're telling yourself, this thing is more important than my dreams. This is more important than my future. The truth is, those distractions are nothing but yesterday's leftovers, serving no real purpose other than to keep you stuck in the past. We live in a world full of noise. Social media, notifications, emails, text messages, TV shows, endless advertisements. All of these things are designed to pull you away from your goals, from your vision, from the work you need to do to outwork yesterday. They're all distractions designed to grab your attention and steal your time. But time is the one thing you can never get back. Every moment you waste on distractions is a moment you could have spent building your future, sharpening your skills, or taking a step closer to your dreams. Now, I know how easy it is to get sucked into the noise. 1 minute, you're just checking your notifications, and the next, you've spent hours scrolling through random posts or watching videos that have nothing to do with your purpose. But every second you spend in that space, you're telling yourself that these distractions are more important than your destiny. The truth is, they're not. You need to start treating your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Every time you focus on something meaningful, you're investing in your future. Every time you decide to block out the noise and concentrate on what matters, you're telling your goals, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to outwork yesterday. But it requires discipline. It requires saying no to the things that are pulling you away from your purpose. You've got to take control of your time and protect your focus like it's your most valuable asset. So how do you do this? It starts with setting clear boundaries. Every day, you need to intentionally carve out time for deep work. Work that requires your full focus, energy, and attention. And that means saying no to anything that doesn't contribute to your success. If you're constantly checking your phone or scrolling through social media, you're giving your time away to things that don't move you forward. That's time you could have spent working on your fitness, your career, your skills, your business. You can't afford to let that go. You've got to say no to the noise and reclaim your time. Here's the practical move. Set aside at least 2 distraction-free hours every day. During this time, turn off your notifications, put your phone on airplane mode, and shut out any distractions. Make this time non-negotiable. It's a commitment to yourself. You're saying, for the next 2 hours, I am focused on my goals. Nothing is more important than this. Whether you're working on a project, studying, writing, or planning your next big move, these 2 hours will be the most powerful investment you make in your day. By dedicating time to deep work, you're telling yourself, I am willing to outwork yesterday. I am going to use every moment of today to build a better tomorrow. But saying no to the noise isn't just about setting aside time for deep work. It's also about recognizing when distractions are sneaking into your day and taking action to eliminate them. Maybe it's that one friend who always calls you to talk about gossip. Maybe it's that email you keep checking that isn't urgent at all. Maybe it's that video you're watching that adds no value to your life. Every time you let these distractions take hold, you're giving away your power. So be ruthless with your focus. When you feel the pull of distraction, recognize it for what it is, a waste of time and energy. Refuse to let it take you away from your dreams. Learn to say no to the things that don't serve you. And every time you do, you'll feel stronger, more in control, and more aligned with your purpose. Now, I'm not saying you should cut out all fun or relaxation. It's important to take breaks and recharge. But there's a difference between intentional relaxation and mindless distraction. Intentional relaxation refuels you. Mindless distraction drains you. You need to be clear on the difference and make sure you're not confusing the two. Protect your focus, because every minute you waste is a minute you'll never get back. The more you practice saying no to the noise, the stronger your focus will become. And the more you protect your focus, the more you'll find yourself outworking yesterday. You'll accomplish more in less time. You'll create more space for your goals. You'll feel a deeper sense of satisfaction because you know you're spending your time wisely. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize that the noise doesn't even faze you anymore. You've trained yourself to stay focused on what matters. So today, make the commitment. Start saying no to the distractions. Set aside time for deep work and guard your focus like a warrior. Every time you do, you'll be outworking yesterday, one step at a time. Reframe failure as feedback. Too often, we look at failure as the end of the road. We beat ourselves up, feeling defeated. thinking that our efforts were in vain. We see failure as something to avoid at all costs, something that defines us as weak or incapable. But what if I told you that failure isn't the enemy? What if I told you that failure is one of your greatest teachers? That failure is not something that happens to you, but something that happens for you. You didn't fail yesterday. You learned. Every time you trip, stumble, or miss your mark, you're not failing. You're learning. Every time you fall short of your goal, you're gaining valuable feedback. You're gathering information that will help you get closer to your success. The real failure happens when you stop trying, when you refuse to get back up, when you let a setback define you instead of using it as a stepping stone. Failure isn't a sign that you're not cut out for success. It's proof that you're in motion. You're taking risks. You're pushing boundaries. And you're stepping out of your comfort zone. The only way to truly fail is to quit. If you're still in the game, if you're still moving forward, then you've never truly failed. You've simply encountered a lesson, a challenge that, if you learn from it, will bring you closer to your goal. Take a moment to think about the legends in history, the ones who overcame incredible odds, the ones who transformed the world. Did they get to where they are without experiencing failure? Absolutely not. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team the first time he tried. He failed. But did he let that failure stop him? No, he used it as fuel to work harder, to improve his skills, and to prove that failure was just a stepping stone on the road to greatness. Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, failed thousands of times before he succeeded. When asked about his failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison reframed every failure as a lesson. Every setback was a clue, a piece of feedback that brought him closer to his goal. This is the mindset you need to adopt. You have to see failure as feedback. Each failure is an opportunity to grow. Every time you fall, you have the chance to rise stronger, smarter, and more determined. Don't get discouraged by setbacks. Don't let them break your spirit. Use them to sharpen your focus, refine your strategy, and get better. The key to overcoming failure is to refuse to let it define you. When you fail, don't ask, "Why did this happen to me?" Instead, ask, "What did I learn from this? How can I use this to move forward?" Reframe your failure as an opportunity to improve. When you stumble, it's not a reflection of who you are, but an indication of what you need to work on. It's not about perfection, it's about progression. One of the most powerful things you can do each night is to reflect on your day and your experiences. Instead of running away from failure or pretending it didn't happen, face it head on. Ask yourself, what did I fail at today? Write it down. And then ask, what did it teach me? This simple practice of reflection will help you see that failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. You'll start to view failure as a vital part of your journey, a part of the process that leads to success. The more you practice reframing failure, the more resilient you'll become. You'll stop taking things personally. You'll stop viewing mistakes as a reason to give up. Instead, you'll see them as valuable lessons that propel you forward. With each failure, you'll get closer to where you want to be. You'll learn new skills, improve your mindset, and build the endurance needed to overcome even bigger challenges in the future. Remember, failure is not a reflection of your worth or your potential. It's simply feedback. It's information that shows you what works and what doesn't. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who learn from it. They're the ones who use it as a stepping stone, a building block on their path to greatness. So tonight, take a moment to reflect. Write down your failures, big or small, but don't stop there. Also, write down what those failures taught you. How did they make you stronger? What did you learn about yourself and your journey? Use this process to reframe your mindset and shift the way you view failure. Once you do that, you'll start to see that failure is no longer an obstacle. It's a powerful tool that will help you outwork yesterday. Move your body, move your mind. The body is not just a vessel. It's the engine that powers your mind, your focus, and your spirit. If you want to outwork yesterday, you've got to start by moving your body. Too often, we get stuck in a cycle of sitting, being stagnant, and allowing our energy to drain away. But the truth is, if you want new energy, you have to move your body and break that cycle of fatigue. Motion is the key to unlocking the mental, emotional, and physical power you need to push past yesterday's limits and make today your best day yet. When you wake up in the morning, the last thing you want to do is get out of bed and start moving, especially when you're still carrying the weight of yesterday's tiredness. But here's the secret. The more you move, the more energy you create. The more you get your body moving, the more your mind will follow. It's not just about physical fitness. It's about reigniting your passion, sharpening your focus, and unlocking the clarity you need to outwork yesterday. Think about it. When you're feeling sluggish and unmotivated, what do you usually do? You sit down, pull the covers up, or stare at your phone. That's the exact opposite of what you need to do. Instead of sinking deeper into that feeling of exhaustion, take a step forward. Go for a walk, go for a jog, or simply stretch your body. Even the smallest movement can break the mental fog and get your mind focused and ready to take on the day. Motion is not just about physical movement, it's about shifting your mindset too. When you get your blood flowing, when you get your muscles moving, your mind will follow suit. Exercise is not just about building strength, it's about boosting your mental clarity. When you move, your body releases endorphins. Those feel good hormones that lift your mood, increase your energy, and sharpen your focus. It's the mental boost you need to outwork yesterday's fatigue, to keep pushing when things get tough, and to remain focused on your goals, no matter how challenging the day ahead may seem. But the truth is, it's easy to find excuses. It's easy to tell yourself, I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll do it tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow never comes. If you keep pushing your physical movement to the side, you'll keep finding yourself stuck in yesterday's energy, in yesterday's tiredness, and in yesterday's mindset. So, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, decide to move today. It doesn't matter if it's a brisk walk, a run, or just stretching for 5 minutes. Movement is movement, and it will help break the cycle of fatigue. Committing to movement doesn't have to mean an intense workout session every day, but it does mean committing to something every single day. 30 minutes of movement is all it takes to start building momentum. 30 minutes to break the chains of yesterday's fatigue. 30 minutes to change your energy, elevate your mood, and reset your mind. It's a small commitment that has the power to make a huge impact on how you feel, how you think, and how you work. Here's the practical move. Commit to 30 minutes of movement every single day, no matter what. This isn't just about making time for physical exercise. It's about taking responsibility for your energy. If you want to outwork yesterday, you've got to start by outworking its fatigue. No more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect moment. Just move your body and let your mind follow. When you make this commitment, you'll begin to notice changes. Your energy levels will rise. Your mental clarity will sharpen, and you'll feel more focused and prepared to tackle your day. And here's the beauty of it, as you continue to move, you'll start to crave it. You'll want to get up and move because you'll feel the power it brings. You'll feel the physical and mental transformation. And you'll realize that movement is one of the most powerful tools you have to outwork yesterday. Remember, the body is the foundation of everything. Your body carries your dreams, your goals, and your ambitions. If you neglect it, if you allow it to become stagnant, then you're holding back your potential. But when you move it, when you treat it with respect and take care of it, you're giving yourself the energy and clarity you need to crush your goals. This is your time to take control. Move your body and watch how it transforms your mind, your energy, and your ability to outwork yesterday. Visualize victory. Daily, the power of visualization is one of the most underrated yet most effective tools that successful people use to achieve greatness. The mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. That's why if you want to outwork yesterday, you have to start by seeing yourself as the person who has already achieved it. If you don't see your victory before it happens, you'll never act like it's real. Visualization isn't just daydreaming. It's a tool that sharpens your focus, aligns your actions with your goals, and prepares you mentally for the challenges ahead. When an Olympic athlete is preparing for their race, they don't just practice the physical moves, they visualize the entire experience from start to finish. They picture themselves executing every move flawlessly, crossing the finish line and achieving the victory. In their mind, it's already happened. By the time they step onto the track, their body is just following through on what their mind has already rehearsed. This is the power of visualization. It programs your mind for success, and it makes achieving your goals feel inevitable. Imagine for a moment that you're in the middle of a huge project or working toward a significant milestone. If you haven't taken the time to visualize your success, your actions won't be as purposeful. You'll be reacting to each obstacle, each challenge, instead of anticipating and overcoming them. Visualization prepares you mentally for everything that lies ahead. It allows you to rehearse the steps you need to take and the mindset you need to adopt. The more you see your success before it happens, the more natural it will feel when you finally reach it. This doesn't just apply to big goals like running a marathon or launching a business. Visualization works on any goal, big or small. Whether you're working on improving your fitness, leveling up your career, or building stronger relationships, you need to see yourself in the position of success before it happens. When you picture yourself achieving your goal, your mind starts to map out the path to get there. It activates your subconscious, helps you stay motivated, and directs your focus toward the actions that will get you to your destination. One of the most important things you need to visualize is your own growth. You need to picture yourself beating the person you were yesterday. Every day, you should imagine yourself stepping into the version of you that has already conquered the challenges, the doubts, and the fears that have held you back. This isn't just about fantasizing about the end goal. It's about seeing yourself overcoming each step along the way. You want to picture yourself handling obstacles with ease, pushing through resistance, and staying committed to your purpose. Visualization is about bridging the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. It's about transforming your thoughts into actions. When you visualize your future self, the best version of yourself, you start to develop the behaviors, attitudes, and habits needed to make that future a reality. Your mind begins to understand what success looks like for you, and it starts to push you in that direction. It's not enough to simply have a goal. It's not enough to simply hope for success. You have to see it. You have to believe that victory is possible before it shows up in your life. And that belief starts with consistent visualization. It's the secret weapon that prepares your mind for success and aligns your actions with your desires. The practical move here is simple but powerful. Spend 5 minutes each day visualizing your future self. See yourself beating your old self. Visualize the obstacles you'll overcome and the growth you'll experience. Picture yourself executing your goals flawlessly and feeling the pride that comes with success. Do this daily. Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine and watch how it starts to shape your mindset, your energy, and your actions. When you take the time to visualize victory, you create a roadmap for your success. You prime your mind to take the actions that will lead you to your goals. And when challenges arise, as they inevitably will, you'll find yourself more resilient, more prepared, and more confident in your ability to push through. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect circumstances to begin. Your mind has the power to make that future real right now, as long as you take the time to visualize it. So, make it a habit. Visualize victory every day and watch how it changes your reality. Finish with fire. We all know the feeling of dragging ourselves across the finish line, exhausted and ready to collapse. But if you're truly committed to outworking yesterday, you can't allow yourself to end your day that way. The way you finish today will determine how you start tomorrow. That's why it's crucial to finish with fire, energy, focus, and a sense of pride in the work you've done. Don't just crawl to the finish line. Sprint toward it. The last moments of your day can be the most impactful, setting the stage for the next day's success. When you finish strong, you ensure that your momentum carries you forward. The final hour of your day is more important than you think. It's not just a time to wind down and relax. It's an opportunity to take full control of your future. When you finish your day with purpose and energy, you're not just completing a task. You're setting yourself up for an even more powerful tomorrow. Your last hour can be the difference between starting from a place of rest and relaxation or starting with a sense of urgency and fire. By finishing with intention and energy, you create the kind of momentum propels you into the next day stronger than ever. Consider how athletes push themselves during the last stretch of a race. They don't slow down, they speed up. They give it everything they've got because they know that crossing the finish line strong will bring them at a sense of accomplishment. And it will make the next race that much easier. The same principle applies to your daily routine. The way you finish your day will determine how you feel when you wake up tomorrow. A powerful finish doesn't just close out your day. It ensures that you're starting from higher ground, ready to take on anything that comes your way. So, what does it mean to finish with fire? It's about giving yourself the opportunity to reflect, to recalibrate, and to set yourself up for success. It's about investing your final moments of the day in a way that energizes you, rather than depleting you. You've worked hard all day long, and now it's time to push yourself even further, not with exhaustion, but with purpose. This is your time to review what you've accomplished, make adjustments where needed, and refocus on what's to come. The key to finishing with fire is to create a nightly routine that fuels your mind, body, and spirit. This isn't about pushing yourself into burnout. It's about finishing strong so you can begin the next day even stronger. One powerful way to do this is through a power hour. Dedicate the last hour of your day to activities that rejuvenate and prepare you for tomorrow. Whether it's reviewing what you've done, reading something inspiring, stretching your body, or planning the next day with focus and excitement, this time can be your most powerful. When you end your day with reflection, you give yourself the chance to assess what worked and what didn't. This isn't about beating yourself up over mistakes. It's about recognizing what you can improve and being proactive in making those adjustments. Each night, how to concentrate. Review your progress. What did you accomplish? What can you do better tomorrow? This type of self-reflection helps you stay on track and ensures you're always improving. Reading during your power hour is another way to ignite your fire. Choose materials that inspire, challenge, and educate you. Whether it's a book on personal development, an article on a new skill you're learning, or a motivational piece, reading can spark new ideas and give you fresh energy for the day ahead. It's about feeding your mind with positive, productive input so that you're not going to bed with worries or distractions. Instead, you're going to bed with clarity, motivation, and a sense of direction. Stretching or doing light exercise is another powerful way to finish your day with fire. Physical activity releases endorphins, boosts your mood, and helps relieve the tension of the day. By incorporating movement into your nightly routine, you're telling your body that it's time to release stress and prepare for the next challenge. It's not about a full workout, it's about unwinding and making sure you're physically ready to take on whatever tomorrow brings. Lastly, use your power hour to plan for the next day. This isn't about obsessing over every detail, but about setting clear intentions for the day ahead. Take a few minutes to write down what you want to accomplish, what your priorities are, and how you'll approach the challenges. When you go to bed with a sense of purpose, you wake up ready to hit the ground running. The beauty of finishing with fire is that it builds momentum each night. You're not just closing out your day, you're laying the foundation for tomorrow. You're not just marking time, You're creating a cycle of success that continues to grow and build on itself. By making the last hour of your day a time of power, reflection, and intentional action, you set yourself up for victory before you even wake up. So take control of your final moments each day. Finish strong, finish with energy, and finish with fire. When you do, you won't just be closing one chapter. You'll be setting the stage for even greater victories to come. Tomorrow, you'll rise from higher ground, ready to outwork yesterday and keep pushing forward with purpose. Listen to me, friends. Yesterday was good, maybe. Or it was broken. But either way, it's gone. The time you spent yesterday has passed, and there's nothing you can do to change it. You can't go back and rewrite those moments, no matter how much you may want to. But what you can do is learn from it, grow from it, and use it to fuel your journey today. Your opponent is not the world. It's not your circumstances. Your one true opponent is the person you were yesterday. Too often, we look around us and see others wondering if we measure up or if we're falling behind. We get caught up in comparing ourselves to people online, to what others are achieving or what others have. But let me remind you, your competition is not them. Your competition is you. You are in a daily battle with your past self. Yesterday's mistakes, yesterday's weaknesses, yesterday's hesitations, they are your competition. You don't need to focus on anyone else's progress. The only progress that matters is yours. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't ask yourself, can I be better? Don't ask if you can achieve more. Don't ask if you can be good enough. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, ask yourself one simple question. Can I beat who I was yesterday? And that right there, my friends, is how legacies are built. That's how you push forward. That's how you leave behind a trail of excellence that only you can walk. Every single day you wake up, you have the chance to be better than you were the day before. Your competition is the person you were yesterday. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to hit every goal you set. But what you need to do is take the lessons from yesterday, apply them today, and outwork the version of you that didn't know better. When you set that standard for yourself, when you choose to beat your own yesterday, you're already winning because you're growing. You're moving forward. And that is the only thing that truly matters. The journey of growth isn't about waiting for perfect moments. It's not about waiting for the right conditions. It's about looking at who you were yesterday, your mistakes, your setbacks, your doubts, and saying, not today. Today, I'm outworking that. Today, I'm doing better. The real magic happens, curious about leaving your past self behind and stepping into your future. But that future can only be built by constantly outworking who you were yesterday. You see, the real power is in the day-to-day. It's in the tiny decisions you make right now, right here. It's in the moment-to-moment battles you fight against the comfort of yesterday. It's in making sure that today you show up stronger, smarter, and more committed than you did before. It's not about making massive changes overnight. It's about making better choices every single day. Your past is not your future unless you allow it to be. The mistakes you made yesterday, the failures you face, those are not chains holding you down. They are lessons that should fuel your fire, your passion to move forward. So let's stop letting yesterday's failures determine today's success. Let's use what we've learned to elevate ourselves. Don't get stuck looking back at what you didn't accomplish yesterday. The question isn't, what did I miss? The question is, how can I do it better today? And the answer, outwork yesterday. So now, here's what I want you to do. Take control of your story. Take control of your destiny. I want you to do 3 things after hearing this message. First, I want you to write down who you were yesterday. Look at that version of yourself. The version that faced challenges, made mistakes, or missed opportunities. Reflect on the lessons it taught you. Understand that person. But then, I want you to see how far you've come and recognize that you've already beaten them in so many ways. Second, I want you to write down how you'll outwork that person today. What will you do differently? What action will you take to improve, to be better, to outshine who you were yesterday? Write it down. Commit to it. And third, I want you to take the first action within the next 5 minutes. Don't wait until later. Don't tell yourself you'll do it tonight or tomorrow. Do it now. Because right now is the only time you have. Right now is the only time that can change everything. The clock is ticking, and every moment you waste is another moment you allow yesterday's version of yourself to win. God gave you today as a gift. You have one opportunity to make it count. You can't waste it. You can't let it slip away. Don't let yesterday's failures define you. Don't let it hold you back. Outwork yesterday. Outgrow it. Outshine it. Your better is not behind you. Your better is born when you commit to this. I will outwork yesterday. And if you do that, day after day, you'll realize something profound. You are capable of far more than you ever imagined. You are not bound by the limits of your past. You are only bound by the limits of your commitment to grow. And when you decide that you will outwork yesterday, your future becomes limitless. So get to work. Start today. And let's build a legacy that your future self will thank you for.